What's up, you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Snapshot, penetration has never been this energetic when we take a look at the Arca Plasmor. Now, you can pick up the Plasmor in the Corpus Lab of your clan dojo after you've completed the appropriate research. Also be aware that it does require Mastery rank 10 to craft. Now, if you can't wait to get to pumping and need to get your hands on this ASAP, you can always pick it up in the market pre-built along with the weapon slot and catalyst for 190 plat. Also be aware that it is a part of the Arca bundle, which you can pick up for 550, and it's got a ton of other things in there, but I will let you be the judge if it is worth your platinum. Now, the Arca Plasmor is a pump action shotgun that fires off a single radiation based projectile. These pulses have innate punch through and will apply the impact status with every shot, just as long as an enemy isn't mid animation. However, do be aware that this is a shotgun and its damage begins to fall off at 10 meters, maxing out at 20 meters. As for its supplemental stats, those numbers are quite interesting. Its status chance sits at 28%, making it impossible to hit the 100% mark without the use of a 5th status mod or a Riven, while its critical chance sits at 22% and its critical multiplier is 1.6. Maxed out, you get a 41.8% chance to crit with the Blunderbuss and a 3.4 times crit multiplier with Primed Ravage. Now, while some of these numbers in the projectile mechanics look really good, there are definitely a couple drawbacks to keep in mind. First and foremost, its reload speed is quite slow at 2.8, and its fire rate is only 1.1 as compared to the Vapor Hex 3.0, the Stun Rate is 2.5, the Tigris Prime's 2.0, and hell, even the Vectis Prime fires faster than this with 1.5 shots per second. In addition, its max ammo is only 48 with 6 in the clip, making that reload speed something that you're going to run into quite often. Now, as for the build, this one is going to be very interesting to chat about because as you can see here, we've actually gone for a crit build as opposed to a status build. Now, I know you guys are saying, well, you've got 22% crit and a meh crit multiplier, but you've got 28% status. Why aren't you going for that instead? And that's mainly because the Arca Plasmor does not work the same way that other shotguns work. So as you guys know, a lot of the other shotguns work off of a pellet system, while this one works off of a single projectile. So at its base, I believe the Tigris Prime has something along the lines of like 7 pellets. I honestly don't remember off of the top of my head, but combined with Hell's Chamber, we're taking a look at the possibility of 14 statuses applied in a single shot when running a 100% status build. So as you can see right there, we've got 14 statuses being applied, as opposed to the Arca Plasmor, which only at max, you know, if we get lucky with Hell's Chamber, are only firing off 3 projectiles in a single shot. So, I mean, that would take, what, I want to say, like 5 shots to even match up to how many statuses would be applied in a single Tigris Prime shot. So definitely the status, 100% status thing is definitely not something to push for, mainly because of the fact that you won't get the same benefits off of this because you only have a single projectile. Now, there are some caveats to this build that I do want to point out. Vicious Spread I actually found very interesting, and Mogamu and I were chatting about this, and he really was the one that made me think about potentially using this, and I'm still up in the air about it. But it is base damage, and as you guys know, base damage works really well with crit because it gives it a nice big fatty boost. But as you can see there, the 60% spread really does not affect the actual projectile itself. However, the one thing to keep in mind is because of the fact that we do have multi-shot on this, it'll actually spread out the different pellets. But here's the thing to keep in mind, is because of the fact that we've got these different projectiles and they're all a decent size, just as long as any part of the pellet hits the enemy, that projectile is going to deal full damage. So just as long as you're within that 10-meter range, Vicious Spread isn't really going to hurt that much on this particular weapon. However, this is one of the mods that I'm thinking of rivening out, but we'll chat about that in a second. You also see here we've got Chilling Reload. That reload speed hurts my soul. I really need something in there to help that reload speed out, mainly because of the fact that it's so slow. However, because of the fact that we are both running Blaze and Chilling Reload, it tends to kind of fuck up the statuses that you want to apply. Now, you could argue out, take out Vicious Spread and add in another mod to make Corrosive, and you could totally do that. That's definitely something that you would want to do if you want to try it out. However, this is really working for me at the moment, and if you notice too, I actually went ahead and went with Toxic Barrage as opposed to just a 90% elemental mod, and that's mainly because of the fact that this weapon still does have a good chunk of status onto it, and because of the fact that the innate status that is applied is impact and not innately radiation, it's nice because you might get a radiation kick, which will provide a little bit of CC, or you might get a little bit of viral, which can half the health and definitely help you out when it comes to further shots that kind of like follow this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this all plays out. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got Billy loaded up, and I actually have to come at him from a different angle, mainly because of the fact that I keep knocking him off the edge with all of the impact staggers. But as you can see here, even though this isn't technically made for armored units, it can still shred through because it's got so much base damage. Like, we have that blaze in there, we have that vicious spread in there, and of course, you know, we are halving its health using a little bit of viral, right? So that's my thing about this weapon, is you really got to kind of like look at it as a primarily crit based weapon with a little boost to status, and that's the big thing right there, is like the status is the extra plus. It's not the other way around where the crit is the extra plus. Well, there he goes. Alright, now I wanted to go ahead and show you a variation of this build, and it actually ditches vicious spread and uses laser sight. So we're completely on the other end of the spectrum with this. And the cool thing about these is the projectiles are so big that technically you don't even necessarily need to land the headshots. You can actually just kind of like be around the general area, and it will go ahead and refresh laser sight, which for some reason is very, very difficult for me to say. But it will actually make it so that your projectiles all go in the same place, so that way you get a little bit more accuracy and you get a bigger chance to get those headshots. But as you can see, hold on, I'm gonna aim off to the side, and I want you to see that it's actually refreshing laser sight. And it's going ahead and giving you more critical chance and gives you a bit more consistent damage. So that's definitely a build that you should consider. I'm still going back and forth between Vicious Spread and Laser Sight myself, but really in my head I'm like, but you could get a Riven though. So that's kind of where my heart is really going, because I want like more consistent critical chance and like crit multiplier maybe. We'll see how that goes. Cross your fingers, but that's the current build that I'm using, and it works pretty fucking well against level 150, so anything beneath that should be a piece of cake. So all in all, I am low-key loving the Arca Plasmor. I like the fact that it kind of defies the conventions of shotguns having to be status weapons, even though you see like the larger chunk of status, you're like, ooh, that's what I'm going for, but it works a lot better, at least in my opinion, as a critical weapon. In fact, I'm actually putting this ahead of the lens when it comes to like Riven priorities, and that's mainly because of the fact that this can't kill you. Unlike the lens, which kills me repeatedly, and that's a feels bad moment for all of us. It actually reminds me a little bit of the Fluctus. It's like the Fluctus in Arcwing made a baby with the lens and came out with this gorgeous, gorgeous pump action shotgun, which I am all about. Now there's a big part of me that wants to discuss a little bit more when it comes to gameplay, so hopefully you guys stick around for that, but this does end the facts and figures, so if that's all you're here for, I will see you next time. Regardless, for everyone else, I'll see you in a second. Alright, so first things first that I definitely kind of like wanted to point out about this weapon, one of the big things that is kind of like iffy, and I kind of want to call it iffy, but it's not really iffy, is the punch through on this. It's weird because it seems to definitely be able to punch through enemy units, and it punches through Shield Lancer's shields, and it punches through blunts, but it doesn't necessarily punch through all terrain. So I don't know if I want to necessarily call it punch through for sure, but it definitely seems like it's just passing through targets and hitting multiple targets in a line. So I think that like was the best name for it, because it's not really physics impact. It doesn't need something to die in order for the punch through to go into effect, if you know what I mean. So I don't know, the verbiage there might be a little bit, you know, some people might not like the verbiage that I use, some people might argue that it's a little bit different, but you know, I'm just saying that's kind of like the way that I wanted to talk about it. Oh god, like words completely fail me at this moment in time. But as you can see here, we are actually going up against level 100 Kuva missions, and they're all armored. You know, this is an armored set, so it's still holding its own. Oh, can I get it? No, somebody else got it. Okay, good for them. Now, I think the only thing else that I really wanted to kind of mention about this was the main fact that a lot of people a lot of people are going to try to want to turn this into a status weapon, and we were actually taking a look at it because Mogami was streaming earlier, and we were looking at his chat, and a lot of people, you know, were trying to get status. Basically, they're trying to force status. And the fact is, the mechanics of this weapon itself just does not win with status. Status needs either fast fire rate or a lot of pellets. Because, like, when it comes to shotguns, having, like, a lot of pellets, that almost counts as a lot of fire rate. Because what they're doing is they're applying a lot of status very, very quickly. Or they're applying a lot of shots very quickly to try to apply a lot of status, right? So we were talking about all of the shotguns that have a bunch of pellets kind of going off and doing its thing. But here, we're only getting like 3 pellets when it comes to Hell's Chamber. Now, don't get me wrong, if you can get like a crazy multi-shot Riven out of this, you might be able to push status on it. If you got like maybe you got status and multi-shot, you could definitely replace like Vicious Spread with that. And you can turn this into a potentially status machine, but of course, that boils down to Rivens, and Rivens can legitimately change the way that a weapon plays in its entirety, right? So a part of me is almost like, we're just gonna look at the weapon for what it is, and I think the big phrase that we had for the day was, let it win where it wins. And the Arca Plasmor really wins when it comes to crit, and that's definitely the way that I'm feeling like it's working its magic right now, right? It's definitely doing a ton of damage to these level 80s. I thought it was going to be level 100. It was listed as level 100. Listen, Kuva is listed like level 80 something to 100. I thought it would be 100, but it's still doing a lot of damage to a lot of these high level targets, you know what I mean? So a part of me kind of feels along the lines of like, let's stick with crit, let it win at crit. And we'll try to drop the status commentary because mechanically it just doesn't work as well as a status weapon, you know? And trying to force it to be a status weapon when that's really not what it's good at is gonna end up kind of like hurting the impression of the weapon, because there are other great status shotguns out there, right? But let those status shotguns be good at being status shotguns, you know? Let them win where they win. Unfortunately, I don't feel like this is necessarily a win when it comes to status. You know, it just doesn't. Its fire rate is just way too slow. Its magazine is like teensy tiny, right? And to kind of like expect to be able to like, you know, shoot this super ridiculously fast, you know, and to try to strip enemies' armors with it is just really not going to be the case. I mean, I'm just happy if I get a viral off on my enemies to be able to kind of like knock them down a peg, right? But you know what? That's just the way that I play with this weapon. Hell, some people might actually run this, and this is one of the things that I was toying around with, was with a blast build. Because, you know, it'll knock down a lot of enemies at once, and let's say maybe you want to use this in combination with a, condition overload weapon, right? Because that could totally be a thing. Maybe you can use blast to knock enemies down and use condition overload on your secondary to really get the effect that you want out of it, right? But me personally, I don't know, I think I'm going to end up sticking to crit because that's where it feels the best. And I think that there's always a lot of people in the, you know, in the community, they're like, well, I just want to see if I can push this to 100. I'm like, you push it to 100. It's probably not going to help you as much as you would like it to help you, because you don't have 15 pellets going off at once to help you either to either strip armor or bypass armor, because this thing doesn't even have any slash on it, so you couldn't use the finisher damage from the slash to bypass the armor anyway. So I don't know, that's just my current standpoint on the Arca Plasmor. I am having a lot of fun with it, and I probably will be looking for a Riven for it to re-roll a little bit and see if we can get something spicy out of it. I'm thinking crit chance, critical damage, because the laser sight did work out really well. Maybe critical chance and base damage, I don't know, we'll have to see. Regardless, that about does it for this video. Let me know how you guys feel about the Arca Plasmor, if you're excited to play around with it, if you're all about that juicy ass model, because that model is juicy. It's quite sexy looking, and I'm very, very excited to play around with it. Are you guys going to try to push this to status and see what you can do with it? Have fun with that. You might want to bring some ammo pads, however. Regardless, that about does it for today. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye-bye.